Good evening. Today I'm going to try Peroni, which is an Italian lager. And so, interestingly enough, it's difficult to categorize European lagers, pale lagers specifically, because all of the really pale lagers tend to be American or a Munich Helles, which this does not apply to. I don't think it's a Pilsner. It's listed on Beer Advocate as a pale European lager, so I think that's what we're looking at. So as an American lager, one of the first things uh, that sets it apart from a standard, make it premium as opposed to standard, is adjuncts that are used. Oftentimes, I think these glasses are so big. Oftentimes, there will be up to 40% adjuncts in a standard American lager, while the premium has only about up to 25% rice or corn as adjuncts. So that's where that sweetness really comes from. That kind of canned corn sweetness is from the addition of either corn or rice. And so that's pretty characteristic for these really pale lagers. So as you can see, actually not appearance first, let's get into aroma. Aroma-wise, this is a little skunky. And if you notice, it's in a green bottle. So green lets through, I don't even know, 70-something%, or only blocks about 70% of light. And so clear and green glass bottles tend to produce a little bit skunkier beer if it's been out for a while. So that's something to consider. So I get a lot of skunk out of this. It's malty and sweet, maybe a little yeasty. There's not really a big flavor going on here, or excuse me, a big aroma going on, but with the exception of the skunkiness that I got when I opened the bottle. But that's characteristic for this style. All of the flavor and aroma profiles in these lager style beers tend to be very subtle. So just to give you an example of what kind of category this would be in, Miller Genuine Draft is here, Corona Extra, Michelob Coors, Birra Moretti, which is another Italian-style lager, Heineken, Beck, Stella. Those are all in the same category. So if you familiarize yourself with those, then you can kind of get an idea of what you can expect in a lager style. It's kind of a gentle, crisp, drinkable beer. So as far as appearance goes, it's a beautiful golden straw color, exactly what we're expecting for this style. It's got a nice carbonation to it. This one didn't pour with a lot of head. I don't know if that was my fault because I was expecting it to fill the glass more, but I forget that these glasses are so large. So that could have been my fault in the pour, but it didn't retain what head it did pour with, so I think it just clears up pretty quickly. On to flavor. Pretty sweet. It kind of has a corn sweetness to it. There's a little bit of a refreshing aftertaste, and definitely a nice crisp carbonation to this. And so one of the things that these American lagers, American style lagers have going for them is like a citrus crispness that comes with the carbonation. And it really makes the beer finish nicely. It makes it very drinkable, makes you want to take another drink again. So I'm getting that here. Pretty malty. There is a little bit of bitterness that comes through, but only in like the finish. So it starts malty, it finishes just a tiny bit bitter, and then the aftertaste is pretty smooth. It's nice and crisp. Has a little bit of a bitter finish to it, but not really a lot. Mouthfeel, it's definitely light, maybe a medium light body. Lots of crisp carbonation going on here. Overall impression, it's definitely refreshing and nice and light, thirst quenching, and they come in at pretty low alcohol, 4.6 to 6%. Most of them are going to be on the lower end of alcohol content, because these beers were really made for drinkability, I think, and traditionally beers didn't get made with a high alcohol content. That was kind of reserved for some other things. And especially in America, where they were worried about alcohol percentage laws for different areas of the country. So, um, says American lagers tend to be the typical import or green bottle international beers found in America. So there you go. That's incredibly cliche of Peroni, but that's exactly what we're seeing here. Because these beers were made to import to the U.S. and they know what style of beer that people are comfortable with drinking. So overall, a pretty good beer. And I got it. I got an Italian beer tonight because I wanted to try, or excuse me, I wanted to pair it with my pizza for dinner. So that's why I've got an Italian beer tonight. Um, so, um, overall impression, I think I already said very drinkable. It's nice and refreshing. This beer wasn't as cold as it could have been, even though I did serve it in a glass out of the freezer to help cool it off a little bit more. So I'm curious to know how it would turn up if I had it either colder and also as it warms up just a little bit, because that does change the taste that you would get out of a beer. So tell me if this is a beer that you drink often. They sell it at Trader Joe's, so it's easy to get. In my area, if you've ever tried an Italian beer before, I want to know what you've had to try. I've heard of Birra Moretti, which I'll probably try at some point in time, but I haven't heard of a lot of other Italian styles of beer. So share with me if you've got some good recommendations. Thank you so much for watching and have a great night.